Hey guys, welcome to a special edition of the Inside Scoop. My name is Neil Crawford. I'm the founder of Anytime Soccer Training and also your host. I say special because this one is dedicated specifically to our members of the youth soccer guest playing group. One of the many reasons I created that group is because my were born in England and we moved back to the States. And I always wondered what it would have been like if they had an opportunity to play in England. And that got me to thinking, let's create a group and find professionals who we trust who are actually doing it. And my service to you guys is to introduce you to operators who have been doing this for 10, even 20 years so that you can build a relationship with them. You can ask them all the tough questions as you prepare to send your kid abroad. And so my guest today is Dennis Brose. And Dennis, you're the founder of the North American Soccer Development Academy. And you're going to speak to us about what you're doing, lessons learned, and the opportunities that you have been providing for young people who want to experience soccer from a totally different perspective than many of us get an opportunity to do in the States. So welcome to the show. Introduce yourself.
Hi, yeah, my name is Dennis Brose. As you mentioned, the founder of the North American Soccer Development Academy. And it all started back in 2013 up here in Michigan. And it started because I went on some trips when I was younger and no one in the area was doing it at the time.
Dennis, before we jump into the meat and potatoes, I love getting an oral history of what soccer was like for you guys in terms of what your coaching experience was like, you being a parent who has children. I just love hearing a very quick oral history about what was soccer like for you growing up. Did they have clubs? Was it just rec? Was it just towns? And then how does that compare to today?
Yeah, so growing up, most of the coaches were dads. I grew up most of my life in Poughkeepsie, New York. I was born in Brooklyn. And, my brother and I, two of us both had professional careers, both represented the United States, really helped soccer grow up in the area. And, it got to a point where I wanted more because I had a dream. So I ended up driving 2 hours each way to New York City to play in some of the tougher leagues against some of the tougher competition. I went on a couple of these trips when I was younger and I was just in awe. And I just thought, when I get older, I obviously want to play soccer, but I have to have other kids experience the same things that I had. So I ended up playing 12 years, like I said. And then after that, I started coaching. I was the director of a club. I owned my own club. And then we started these trips in 2013. And the whole reason we did it was at the time we had the US Soccer Development Academy. And those kids get a lot of exposure. But that's not the only pathway. Right now, MLS Next, that's not the only pathway. So I just wanted to provide something where kids could go over to overseas, see how they can stack up against some of these kids over in Europe. And hopefully that motivates them a little bit better to keep going and reach higher goals.
So this interview is about you. I'm not going to get on my soapbox, but I really believe we need more club neutral, transparent pathways for talented and motivated kids to be seen, both here in the States and abroad, so that we parents who are not experts in soccer, not experts in the soccer landscape, don't have this anxiety about trying to find the club that is going to give my child exposure, rightly or wrongly, and prioritizing that over development in a situation where the kid is actually having their friends and enjoying themselves.
Yeah, I think obviously you've heard Zlatan Ibrahimovic talk about, the pay to play. And I think that gets in the way. I grew up part of my life in Europe and we didn't pay for anything. There was an older gentleman that used to play for the club, and he actually cleaned my cleats when I was 11 years old, and they would be totally clean when I'd have training the next day. There'd be a water bottle, my uniform was washed and everything. And this was at the younger ages. And I think when the money gets away in a little bit, clubs become very territorial. They don't want to share their players with anyone. They don't want any of the parents' disposable income being spent on anything outside of the club. So what you run into there is they don't even present these opportunities. Now, granted, clubs are great; they're a necessity. Well, especially in the local areas, but kids should be exposed to anything and everything soccer if that's one of their dreams. And if you can't provide that service or an opportunity, if you provide a good product as a club, you shouldn't worry about kids going and guest playing somewhere. You shouldn't worry about kids doing anything else because they're going to come back to you. So you shouldn't have anything to worry about. I used to coach in a club, like I said. I became neutral only because it was really difficult to get players to come and join me because everybody thought I was recruiting kids from one Michigan club to another Michigan club. And that's not the goal. For me, it's all about the soccer. When we go over there, I try to maximize the number of games that the kids play, and I don't include a bunch of overpriced excursions. Any free time belongs to the parents, but it's soccer, soccer, soccer. That's what we're all about. And I coach the games. I coach the games. There's times I've been on these trips and I've coached 40 games because I want to make sure that my experience is put into those kids and that they hear it straight from the horse's mouth as someone that has made it to the highest level.
Now, you've done a great job of articulating your passion and why, and it's kind of like speaking to me through the Zoom, and I appreciate that. So, what are you offering? Like, literally, what's happening, and how does it work?
Yeah. So what we do is, as you've seen, we've posted on your Facebook page, and we want to, provide kids with the opportunity to go to Europe. Now, sometimes you can't get a whole team to go, right? So we provide an opportunity for individual players to join us. And then we do our best to obviously put together a solid team. We've always been very competitive. We've made it to the finals in Greece and Portugal and Spain. We've had some MVPs of the tournament. We've never won the tournament in Portugal and Spain, but the kids gelled together. And really, the bottom line is humility, selflessness, and respect. You got to come in, you got to buy into the program. And for us to have any success, we have to build a community, and there's going to be roles for everybody. But in the end, I think when kids leave, not only are they better players, but I think they start to realize that it's not all about necessarily MLS Next or anything like that. It's just, hey, I want to do this. What do I do now? And then we try to provide them with a little bit of a pathway on training methods and things like that.
So, in terms of the blocking and tackling, like, literally, how does it work? Like, what age groups? How many days are they out
Yeah.
there? Does that vary depending on the group?
Yeah, so we take teams and we take individual players. So we go to Greece at the end of June. So basically this year it's June 15th through the 29th. And then we go straight from there to Portugal. And then straight from Portugal on the 8th, we go to Spain. So, and these are all going to be different groups. Nobody's going to go on all three of these trips. But in the end, the goal is for these kids to just get better. And the age groups, right now we're taking 2007 on some of the trips down to 2016. And then obviously, if there's a solid 2017, they're welcome to join us. With us, everybody's going to get a ton of playing time. And, nobody has to worry about going over there because we understand at North American Soccer Development Academy that it's an investment. And we want to make sure that you guys understand that as parents, that we're going to maximize your investment for you. We want to get as many games as possible, and any free time belongs to you because we do want you to experience certain things while you're in those countries.
You guys may not realize this, but I don't interview every provider. What I look for, to be honest with you, and I'm going to give you a shout out here, is someone who is sincerely trying to bring the cost curve down of going abroad. All right. So we talked about the why you're doing it, and I appreciate that. We talked a little bit about what we're doing, but in terms of how it works, though, walk me through the typical situation. Parent emails you, then what happens?
Yeah, so we respond to them. Our website is the NASDA soccer.com. So basically the acronym for North American Soccer Development Academy. And then we refer them to the website. There's a player contact form. There's also a team contact form. So if you're a coach, you would fill it out with your name and your manager. And then we would give you all the information. An email will be released to you when you fill out that contact form that has all the details, including the cost, the itinerary, the age groups, whether it's boys or girls that are going on the trip, whether it's both that are going on the trip. So once you then review that, we will follow up, but you're also welcome to follow up by email or phone. I'm happy to speak on the phone to people and just give you all the details. And there's certain questions that you start to think of when you talk, that you might forget to put in an email. So I don't mind being on the phone with people. And yeah, then we just try to provide them with all of the information. We have a frequently asked questions page on our website that even includes things like, can I drink the water in this country? Because having been a player, I knew we went to certain countries and we were told, don't drink the water, don't drink the milk, don't do those kinds of things. So we try to be as thorough as we can, but then there's always questions. So, and I think, like you said earlier, when people hear my tone, they know I'm passionate about it. It's like you're a dad, right? So when your son first started walking, it was like the best in the world, right? As a coach, if I'm teaching a give and go, and finally I see it happen in the game, I mean that's exciting for me, right? So, and then also the challenge of being able to bring together a bunch of individuals and turn them into a solid competitive team within about a week.
So, who do you play?
Yeah. So when we go to Greece, it's mostly the Eastern Bloc countries. So there's going to be teams like, Serbia and Bulgaria, Romania, Cyprus, teams like that. Then when we go to the Iber Cup tournament in Portugal and Spain, you can have teams basically from anywhere. And the benefit there is all of these countries is one day you wake up and you can play a Mexican team and they play a certain style and you have to adjust. And then the next day you're going to play an African team. And then the next day you're going to play an Austrian team. And these are all different types of styles. So this really helps the players stay on their toes and learn how to adjust under pressure. Um, the other thing we're trying to do, which again, for me is really exciting, is we're trying to provide ID camps prior to the tournament starting. So now these kids participate in an ID camp. And if they are chosen or identified, now these coaches can then actually scout them throughout the tournament. And this can happen at all ages. Now, obviously, at the younger ages, according to the FIFA rules, kids can't just go over to Europe at 12 years old, right? But that doesn't mean that a club can't scout them and go, we like that kid, bring them back next year and watch them again, or come over for a trial and then back to your home country. In Greece, we're going to be looking to bring in scouts from very American friendly countries, meaning that they don't mind having American players in their leagues. And then in Portugal, we're going to do a camp that has US college coaches. So, and then also potentially provide a gap year pathway for these kids to be immersed in the Portuguese culture and in the academy system to help increase their stock when it comes to a college, or even potentially be scouted and end up playing in Portugal.
You struck a nerve with me when you said ID camps before the games because I always look at what is happening and how can we add value, which is defined as don't make things that much more expensive and then create value with the time that you have.
Yeah, but you know what? That all started real quick. My kids all played in the Youth Soccer Development Academy, high level. And we went down to the showcases in Lakewood Ranch and over in Indiana and all these kinds of things. And having been a player, I have all these parents on the sideline that I'm sitting with. And then all the college coaches, I know a bunch of them, they would come up to me and they go, what about number 14? I'm like, he's already going to St. Louis. What about this guy? So the college coaches don't know. And if you don't have a lot of time and you only are going to watch a kid for a half a game, you better know he's available. Otherwise, you're wasting your time. So that's where it all started for me. I started thinking like we can make this streamline it so much better.
All right. Now, a lot of members were asking you about girls. Dennis,
Right.
you're online every 2 seconds saying, not yet, not yet, not yet. What's the update?
Yep. Yeah. Yeah. So we are taking girls to Portugal this year. Okay.
Okay.
Portugal has had girls in the past. And when we were going years, the competition wasn't all too great. So I wanted to make sure that I don't mislead parents and I want to make sure I provide a good product. So if the girls do come this year or next year or so forth, that they're going to go there and they're going to get some solid competition, right? So we want to make sure that we can provide it obviously for boys and girls. We tried to put something together for Greece last year. And then in fairness to all the girl parents, I had to call them all back and basically say, listen, I don't want to disappoint you. I don't want to go over there and have them just throw teams together just so you can say you played against the girls team. I want to play against organized girls teams in this tournament setting where, there's a meaning, right? Like there's something to play for. So we feel very confident this year that, Portugal is going to be that place where we can provide a great atmosphere for girls.
Great, great, great. And then what does the future hold for Dennis and North American Soccer Development Academy?
Yeah, I want to keep doing this till the day I die because I like watching these kids develop. And we've had kids in the past that have now moved on to MLS, that have moved on to playing D1 college. And we're a small part of that, right? We're just a small part of that. But the fact that I'm so honest and direct with the parents when we get over on these trips, I get a lot of feedback saying, this really helped my kid because you have to remember in a club setting, when you're paying 3, 5, 7, $10,000 a year to play for these clubs, no one's going to try to make you upset because they're going to lose revenue if you pull your kid. My attitude is you're going to come on this trip, you're going to hear straight from me what it's going to take. And if you don't like it, you don't like it. You don't ever have to come back, right? But I'm going to be honest with you because I think I owe you that because I had people that were very honest with me when I was growing up.
Guys, my name is Neil Crawford. I'm the founder of Anytime Soccer Training. I just sat down with Dennis Brose, founder of North American Soccer Development Academy. Dennis, this has been a great, great show. I've learned a lot. I'm excited about it. Much success to you guys. And to the members in the Youth Soccer Guest Player group, reach out to Dennis directly, and he'll be willing to answer any of your questions. And look forward to the webinar on traveling abroad, the do's, the don'ts, the good, the bad, and the ugly, and tips and questions that you wish you had answered before you committed. Thanks for watching. Thank you, Dennis.
Thank you, Neil. Have a great day.